All right, well, we are back again. The setup is a little different. I am using a different camera because the other one is away on a shoot right now. And so this is another one that we have laying around. And I am shooting at a much higher ISO, so I am sorry if there's noisy footage. Also, the space that I record these videos in, we had a short film shooting in here recently, and they kind of had to rearrange the room, and so the little setup that I had that I was doing this on is just a little bit different. So yeah, I'm also running the same microphone into a different audio recorder. The other one I was just running straight into the camera, but now I'm running into a dedicated recorder, which may or may not sound better. I think that's mostly subjective when it comes to these types of videos, but enough rambling. I saw that we've got a few subscribers, which is cool. And I'm guessing that there's some people that like this. So I'm going to try and bang out a ton of these videos really tonight because I've got a pretty busy couple of weeks coming up. With the first few videos, I've kind of scheduled them to just go live on Mondays at 12 a.m. So as soon as Sunday night hits midnight, those will be available. I don't know if that's the best time, but I'm just trying to be consistent in when things are posted and how I'm doing things so that, it gives you guys an idea of what to expect. It gives YouTube an idea of what to expect, etc., etc. But yeah, today I'm gonna go. This is probably, it's not obscure, but it's definitely an artist that is new and maybe you haven't heard of, or I don't know, maybe you have, but you haven't really checked them out. Both of these, the people in this group are part of other bands as well, or have worked in other projects, and so, yeah, this is a newer album, actually just finally released physically on vinyl recently. But it's a band that I was able to go see recently. They made their first small tour over to the East Coast, and so I was able to go catch them on that, and it was a great show. And I picked up their record and got to meet them after the show and talk with them real briefly, just because it was a long line and I didn't want to bother them. But yeah, today I want to talk about this EP by the band Crushed. Man, maybe this shot is a little tighter than normal. You can't see the whole artwork. But this is the Extra Life EP by the band Crushed. They are based out of LA, and it is really both members. Well, they share vocal duties, but mostly it is one vocalist and a multi-instrumentalist and producer duo that makes kind of like, I don't know, this EP's got a lot of different things on it. So it's definitely got like a late 90s, early 2000s, maybe some Cranberries vibes to some of the percussion and kind of atmospherics going on. But then it also has some elements of like early Fantagram, like trip hop. I'm trying to think what other influences. I don't know. Maybe if you like that artist Hatchie, maybe you might like this. Yeah, maybe some slow core stuff could also bring you here. But I don't know. I think it's a unique blend of pop, a little, trip hop, maybe even at some points a little bit of grunge. Not so much in the songwriting styles or even a lot of the sonics of the guitars or the vocals, but just I don't I don't know. There's just something reminiscent of it. It's a lot of different styles mixed together, but um, yeah, it's pretty small. It's only three songs on each side, and one of them's only 2 minutes long. It's kind of like an instrumental. But this came out last year, like pretty early, and I forget how I heard about it. I think someone on a podcast mentioned it, and I just checked it out and clicked with it right away. I didn't really meet a lot of other people at other, just when I'm talking with music with people online or at shows, didn't really connect with anybody else that really listened to this outside of, ironically, a friend of mine who used to live in Los Angeles actually knows Sean is one of the members in this band, and so that was kind of funny, a little ironic. But yeah, we got 6 songs: Water Lily, Coil, Milk Sugar, Bedside, Respawn, and Lorica. And I am happy to say that these are not the only songs they've written. They played basically an hour-long set. This EP is only like barely 20 minutes, maybe a little over. So they've got a lot of music coming. They said probably some singles this year with a record next year is the plan. So fingers crossed they stick to that, because I would love to hear new stuff. And some of the stuff they played live that I hadn't heard was really cool. But yeah, let's open it up. So this is the two of them. It is Sean and Bree. So Sean, right? It is Sean. I just want to make sure. Yes, Sean Durkin. So he's been around LA as a producer, guitarist. He actually recently filled in on tour for the band Deafheaven, which at some point I'll show some of their records that I have. Great band if you haven't listened to them. Sunbather, New Bermuda. Yeah, great records. The new stuff, the shoegazier stuff, I really like too. I have a few copies of that new record because it did a cool zoetrope type design, which is cool to see. But yeah, so he kind of been around for a while, pretty well connected. And then Bree, the vocalist, is also in Temple of Angels. I think they're a Run for Cover Records band. I actually don't really know their stuff. I had never heard her sing before until this project, but worth checking out. Yeah, just a standard sleeve with some with some lyrics, and mixed by Nick Bassett. I'm trying to, off the top of my head, I can't remember. That name is super familiar, but I can't remember what else he's worked on. But I'm pretty sure there's some other album that I have that he's connected to or something. I'm sure, and it'll come up later. This variant is very cool. This is the only version of this record, I think. I forget what it's called. They had some funky name for it on the website and on the sticker when I took it off, but it's this cool clear with like a green splash and then like pink splatter. So it goes cool with the artwork. I actually have not listened to this yet. I haven't put it on. So the show was recently. I haven't really had the time to sit down and listen to it, but maybe tomorrow or another night this week. Definitely a good nighttime album. Good for driving. I spent a lot of time in the car listening to this last year, but yeah, and this is put out by Ghostly International, which was kind of a surprise, a label I didn't expect them to connect with, but I'm happy they did. Ghostly has put out great records over the years, bunch of projects that I really love. Cool label, and I'm hoping that this pressing sounds really good. Also, oh yeah, this is so it's a 12-inch but like I said, the EP is only about 20 minutes. So the nice thing is that these are all 45 RPM, which a little bit of weird math for you, but the faster a record spins, it's like scientifically provable that like the sound quality is better. Now, how noticeable is it? It's pretty marginal, especially if you don't have like a crazy setup, which most people aren't spending tens of thousands of dollars on a setup. My setup personally is not super expensive. It's definitely not like beginner level, but I haven't sunk thousands and thousands of dollars into my setup. I've sunk thousands and thousands of dollars into my records, but that's a different problem. But yeah, 45 RPM records generally will sound better than 33 and a third RPM records because of the speed. Additionally, another cool little math fact about records is technically the needle is going faster on the outside. It kind of slows down a little as it gets closer to the middle. And that's why a lot of older records were not necessarily sequenced. Like, when I say sequence, I mean the track listing, what song goes after the next song and the next song. They're not typically sequenced based off of like a certain flow, but more was, hey, the big singles are the first songs on each side. And actually, there's a lot of albums, even still, that are kind of broken up this way, where, it almost acts like side one is one record or one, collection of songs, and the second side is another collection of songs. It's not always the case. Not everybody does it, but that's how it can play out sometimes. Let me put this here. I really do like how that looks. It looks cool. But a perfect example of this recently would be Big Thief's newest album. What is it? Dragon, New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You, whatever, very long name. Really good album. But they even kind of went into recording that of, hey, we want to have like 4 quadrants of one big album. And so it's kind of split up that each side is its own thing. And all that to say, that's why some older albums, the singles will be like track 1 and track 6. Because it was better to put the big songs on the outside of the record because it technically sounds a little better. I could be completely off. This is something that I talked about with a friend like literally 10 years ago, but I'm pretty sure that there's some weird science and math behind it as to how the rotations and how everything all works. So I'm not sure why I'm rambling about like weird stuff like that while we're talking about a pretty small album here, but yeah, that is Crush's Extra Life EP. Definitely check it out. It's on streaming. Go see them if you can. They only did a few dates here. I think it was like New York, Philly, Toronto, and Montreal. But they're from the West Coast. They'll do some stuff out there soon, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll hop on a tour or something. You can follow them on Instagram. I think it's Crushed Worldwide. I'll just link it in the description. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite releases of 2023. I'm happy that it finally has come out physically this year. And yeah, I'm excited to listen to it and spin it and hear these songs, hopefully in an even like newer way than I have before. There really are some albums, especially if they're mastered really well for vinyl, there really are new things that you pick up when you listen to them. I mean, a perfect example for me is I was in high school when The Suburbs by Arcade Fire came out, and I bought the CD and I listened to it constantly in my car, my iPod, whatever. But then when I started getting into records, a couple years after that album came out, I bought the record, and there's just parts of those songs I had never noticed before. Like, they were always there, but I had never heard them before, or just paid attention to things in a new way. And so it's one of the things that I really like about records. You can do it with CDs too, but my CD player in my 2001 Saturn was not necessarily the best system to be listening to things on. So, but yeah, really love that about vinyl, and just, finding something new in a listen is always a rewarding thing. So I'm gonna stop rambling for this one. I have no idea how long it has been, but I'm trying to make sure these are at least like 12 minutes. Really, my goal for each one is to talk for at least 15. Just because I know for me, again, I'm basing so much of this off of what I like to watch, but I know for me, sitting down, seeing a video that's under 10 minutes, I'm like really not inclined to click on it, because I just want to put something on and listen to it for a decent amount of time. And yeah, I'm hoping 15 minutes, I'm hoping is a good goal to aim for most of the time. So, yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to turn off the camera and hop into the next one and try and crank out a bunch of these tonight. So thanks again for watching. Leave a comment on, maybe, have you listened to this band? Have you checked out this EP? Maybe you go and listen to it after watching this and you really like it. Come back and let me know. I love recommending music. Love talking about influences and where I hear different things from other previous artists and bands and stuff like that. So, yeah, would love to talk in the comments about really anything. And, yeah, all the usual junk. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal, whatever. I don't actually care. This is fun for me, so I'm glad people are liking it. Yeah, all right. See you in the next one. Peace out.